How did the human race pass the test of time? Did we manage to walk this path of life without any help, or were we actually guided by some extraterrestrial beings willing to help us grow and prosper in their own image?
With so many conspiracy theories out there, it's hard to keep track of them all. Welcome to What We Know, where we try to uncover the histories and mysteries of the world by presenting all different theories out there, and the only narrative we push is this. Here's what we know, make up your own mind.
According to numerous legends and beliefs, the white gods once came to Earth and helped humanity develop and prosper by offering knowledge in many ways. Quetzalcoatl is believed to be one of the first white gods to visit our planet. He was one of the most important gods from ancient Mesoamerica and was known as Kukulkán to the Mayans, Gucumatz to the Quichés of Guatemala, and Ehecatl to the Huastecs of the Gulf of Mexico. Based on Mesoamerican folklore, Quetzalcoatl is one who created the world and all of mankind and was regarded as the god of wind and rain. He is also known for structuring art and culture and was regarded as the organizer of society at that point in time. Since 1200 CE in central Mexico, he was considered the god of learning, agriculture, science, and arts. He was also considered the patron god of merchants, as he managed to discover corn with the help of giant red ant who led him to a mountain packed full of grain and seeds. Legends named this entity Quetzalcoatl as the god of dawn. This is one of the reasons why he is believed to be from a far-away planet. Keep in mind that according to Mayan paintings and sculptures, many structures arose during this period that looked like spaceships from the 21st century. Drawings and representations found in sculptures wore something related to spacesuits, and many images representing the gods showed similarities to that astronauts look like nowadays. It is believed that Quetzalcoatl burned himself and vanished into the skies towards the planet identified today as Venus. Could this be interpreted as an extraterrestrial being that has fulfilled his mission on Earth and quickly disappeared through the skies to head to a new planet in need of guidance? Quetzalcoatl is described as light-skinned, bearded, and tall, with the serpent head hiding his human appearance. The earliest surviving image of Quetzalcoatl comes from the Olmec civilization, with the sculpture at La Venta of a beaked snake with a feather crest surrounded by two quetzal birds. The earliest representations found in Mexico is at Teotihuacan, where there are sculptures of feathered snakes dating from the 3rd century CE, and this is also the place where a 6-tiered pyramid was built in the honor of the serpent god of knowledge. The deity was often described in architectural and sculptural decoration, appearing at other sites such as Xochitl, but he was rarely represented with any human form before late post-classical period. Since 1200 CE, Quetzalcoatl was usually represented in his human form and mostly wore shell jewelry and tapered hat. Representations of the god often have wind jewelry, which is a cross-section of a calm wall from as a pectoral, worn as a pectoral, and often wear red mask like a goose's beak, bearing long canine teeth. The writer Robert Marks has written broadly about this concept of white gods, as he came to the conclusion that they are in almost every indigenous culture in America. After his journey in South America, the British writer Harold Wilkins also came to the conclusion that a vanished white race had occupied all of South America in ancient times, helping the indigenous people cultivate food and build up pyramids along with other large structures that would otherwise have been impossible construct considering the lack of knowledge and tools during that time. He also claimed that Quetzalcoatl was from Atlantis. Sharing his beliefs, some ancient astronaut and UFO writers have suited that the white gods were actually extraterrestrial beings. Peter Colosimo believed that the myths of Quetzalcoatl had support. In fact, he stated that the legends actually described a full race of white men who were born in spaceships and migrated to Atlantis. After the city was destroyed by water, the remaining white men moved to the Americas, where they were treated like white gods by the primitive earth dwellers. Another interesting theory is based on the writings of the Franciscan friar Bernardino de Sahaguan from the 16th century, in which he describes the meeting between the Mexica Emperor Moctezuma II and the Spanish captain Hernan Cortes. At first sight of the white Spanish men, Emperor Moctezuma thought that the white gods have returned from the east and Captain Cortez was the god Quetzalcoatl. Because of his beliefs, the emperor gifted him a mask representing the feather serpent. The mask was carved from a single piece of cedar wood and covered with the turquoise mosaic work. The teeth were made of white clamshell. The design consisted of two serpents, green and blue, encircling the eyes and entangled over the nose and surround the mouth. According to Sahagun's description, it was worn with a crown of dazzling long green, blue shimmering feathers, possibly those of the Quetzal, a tropical rainforest bird with iridescent green-blue plumage. Much of the idea of Captain Cortez being seen as a deity can be followed back to the Florentine Codex written about 50 years after the conquest. In the Codex's tale of the first meeting between Moctezuma and Cortez, the ruler of the Aztec is illustrated as giving a prepared speech in classical oratorical Nahuatl, a dialect which as reported verbatim in the codex written by Sahagun's informants, added such prostrate announcement of divine or near-divine adoration. An imperfect intellectual understanding of High Nahuatl or a tree style make the exact intent of these comments tricky to approve. But some argued that Moctezuma politely offering his throne to Cortez may well have been meant as the exact opposite of what it was taken to mean. Kindness in Aztec culture was a way to affirm dominance and show superiority. This speech, which has been extensively referred to, has been a factor in the widespread assumption that Moctezuma was addressing Cortez as the returning god Quetzalcoatl. As time passed by, we educated ourselves through history and managed to see a glimpse of what life used to be. At our current understanding level, we realized that some things from the past might have been impossible to accomplish without any external help. The white gods could have given us knowledge in which the Mesoamericans used to obtain power. But as the ETs left, the indigenous people couldn't suffice in controlling that power, which was given too early without any warning of its side effects. It ultimately led to self-destruction of the most knowledgeable and prosperous civilizations of our past because the guidance of aliens had vanished. Will they return as the prophecies foretell and help us again to build our future? Let us know in the comments. Share your thoughts in the comments.
Many years ago, I was introduced to the amazing videos of Ed Grimley, who at the time was discussing the idea that UFOs were engaging in some level of extra-atmospheric combat. At the time, I dismissed the idea, thinking if an alien ship had come all this way, that alien ship would possess enough destructive power to render our defensive apparatus null and void and simply blow anything we could throw at it out of the sky. Now, many years later, and especially given recent research into the secret space program, as well as the actual composition of battle platforms in space, that maybe Grimley was onto something. He was onto something, but I suspect it wasn't aliens duking it out with Earthmen, but instead a space war between a breakaway civilization and its earthly brethren.
If you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing to us and hitting the like button. Feel free to write a comment below and suggest which theory you want to see next. If you'd like to further support this channel, please consider joining. Our membership link will be found in the description box below. We appreciate your support, and as always, thanks for watching.